What do you do when a child is thriving in session, but their parent is the one getting hit, bitten, and scratched at home? It can start to feel like the parent is doing everything wrong, especially when they see their child succeed with someone else. But often, this isn't a parenting fault. It's behavioral contrast. The reinforcement in one context is different than it is in another. And when that's true, behavior can change in a way that we don't want it to. If we respond to an increase in behavior in one context by tightening control, we might get compliance, but we don't necessarily get safety, and we don't get trust, and we don't get assent. So, what do you actually do? I'm working with a family right now where this is happening. Services have only been in place for about 3 months, and the child's just 3 years old. She's making progress. Communication skills are emerging with the RBT. She's cooperating more with her nanny. Things are going pretty well. But with mom, the aggression shows up. The little girl is running in the community. She's scratching, biting. She's hurting her mom. And mom is really discouraged. The first thing we did was slow down and look at the reinforcement differences. What is happening in sessions that isn't happening at home when the RBT isn't there? How dense is reinforcement with the RBT? How predictable are her responses to the child's requests and behavior? How clear are the expectations? And then what does that look like with mom? Not from a place of criticism, but from a place of curiosity and understanding. In this case, reinforcement was simply more predictable and more consistent during sessions. That's not surprising. ABA is usually structured that way. Parenting isn't. So instead of telling mom to be more consistent, I help her build her own reinforcement history. We intentionally identified a potential reinforcer, something that's completely new to her daughter, something that's high value and novel, not something that's already used in sessions or readily available at home, not something that she would quickly become satiated on, something that would immediately increase motivation in mom's presence. That novelty makes an important difference. It made mom the giver of something exciting and new. This little girl loves her mom and wants to be with her at all times. So it's not about building a stronger relationship for them. It's about the child understanding the role of her mother. Yes, we want to honor assent, but we also need to be realistic when it comes to families. Mom is responsible for keeping her safe, and there are some demands that the child will just need to follow. But reinforcement alone wasn't enough to get the ball rolling. We needed to also shrink the demands that mom was giving her dramatically. When behavioral contrast shows up, we might be tempted to try to get the parent to implement the behavior plan with better fidelity, but that usually backfires because of the parent's reality. The RBT only has the behavior plan to implement, but parents are trying to manage the house, make dinner, help siblings, and do what you ask them to do. For this family, I started with simple, very small, almost guaranteed responses. Things like touch your head, wiggle your fingers, and give me a high five. Simple one step directions that were easy and even fun for the little girl. This should be something both the child and the parent want to do because it feels easy and fun. We made it playful and kept the practice short. I coached mom to provide reinforcement immediately. We only practiced for a few minutes and we ended the practice on success before the girl became satiated on the available reinforcer. You might hear that and think, isn't that just compliance training? And it is. And it's something that I have moved away from. I told the mother my concerns about the procedure and why I was recommending it in this specific situation. I told her that we could give it a try, but I wanted to be careful about the goal. The goal wasn't blind obedience. It was building momentum. It was helping the little girl see mom's demands as something that were safe and even fun. We needed mom to feel effective. We needed her daughter to experience mom as predictable and reinforcing. We needed cooperation to feel easy again. We won't continue until the little girl follows 100% of mom's demands. That's never been the goal. We just need to soften her responses to her mother's demands. Before we started, I had a very direct conversation with mom. I told her that I've moved away from the traditional compliance training because I don't want children learning that every adult demand must be followed without question. That matters to me, and I wanted to set up some very specific guidelines around the intervention. If her daughter communicated that she didn't want to participate, we would honor that. We would continue to teach alternative communication and honor her requests to leave the activity. We would keep requests small and build to the ones that actually mattered, those around keeping her safe, like staying away from a hot stove or staying with an adult when outside. Assent doesn't mean being permissive. It means being responsive to what a child is saying with their words or their behavior. We are allowed to protect the safety of the children we work with. We are allowed to help them accept the things that have to happen. We are allowed to prevent them from running in the street. As mom started reinforcing these very small, successful moments, something shifted in the way the little girl started to respond to her. She was able to get her daughter to do simple things. And that might sound minor, but it wasn't. That was the first step toward keeping her safe. There's one more thing I want to talk about in relation to this, and that's the parent's capacity. This mom has her own trauma history. Intensive behavioral skills training isn't realistic for her right now. So we needed to take things slow. I needed to give her fewer strategies. I really just needed to give her one that would work. Parent training only works if it fits the parent's real life, not the ideal version of it. So when you see behavioral contrast at home, don't panic. Don't push the parent to follow the behavior plan or run the interventions with higher fidelity. Look at the reinforcement history between the child and the parent. Identify where the gap is. Help the parent build their own strong reinforcing relationship. Shrink the demands. Reinforce quickly, honor communication, and match your expectations to the parent's capacity. That's how you close the gap between what's happening in session and what's happening with the parent. And when you do that, you're not just reducing aggression, you're building cooperation that lasts without sacrificing assent. If you find yourself second guessing your decisions in cases like this, wondering how to protect assent without losing effectiveness, that's exactly why we created the Master ABA Dojo. It's where we help BCBAs simplify their clinical thinking. You don't have to figure everything out alone. If you want your decision making to feel easier, join us in the dojo, and the link is in the description.